Welcome back. We are vastly approaching the deadline, the day for Election Day, where you will cast your final votes to see who will be the leaders in your local communities. And running for East Peoria are two commissioners, the mayor of East Peoria, I should say, and joining me today is Tim Jeffers. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure to be here with you.
So first off, for people, I mean, you've been a commissioner now for several terms, but for those in which who don't know you particularly personally, who are you to them? What should they know about you?
Look, my name's Tim Jeffers, of course, and I've grown up in East Peoria my whole life. My father came to East Peoria in 1948 to work at Caterpillar. And then he and Mom settled there and raised our family there. And I have siblings still living in East Peoria and in the immediate Peoria area. And so this has been home. We've raised our children here. We have 3 daughters, and they have been a big part of our life, and we see them almost several days a week. So we're a very close family. We gather at my mother's after church, me and my siblings, to have lunch. We're very traditional in that way. So I'm a 38-year retiree from Caterpillar. I think that's on some of my things, but I followed my dad's footsteps. He was there 34 years, I was there 38, and I left, I've been retired 3 years. So the last 3 years I've been able to fill some more time with things. I mentioned as a volunteer at Southside Mission for the thrift store in Morton. I've been a lifelong member of my local church, Oak Grove in East Peoria. And I also had a chance to work the last 32 years there with a youth ministry called Awana. Very much a worldwide organization, but very strong on our kids. We've had hundreds of kids come through the program from the East Peoria and East Peoria area. And I'm very proud of that. And we've got a great staff. It's been a lot of fun. I try to have fun. When I was younger, my kids were coming up through, as an example, girls softball in East Peoria. I had a chance to coach, and I met a lot of kids, and now they're much older and so forth. It's just been a lot of fun.
Well, in your dealings within the city, right, commissioner for 3 terms at this point, right? And so this will be the first time in 12 years that the mayor of East Peoria is not Dave Mingus, right? So here you are, and you're running for this, and a lot of people believe he's done a great job. What will be your focus moving forward, and what do you think East Peoria needs to do to improve, to build upon, to get to that next level? Yeah. What's your vision for the city if you were to be elected as mayor?
That's a good question. I've known Dave Mingus, Mayor Mingus, before I was ever on this council, and I've had a chance to serve under him for 12 years, and in a lot of ways he has mentored me. He may not have known it, but he has. You can't help it by working with someone like this in this capacity all these years, and I thank him for that. He's given me chances to represent him and the city at different events where he couldn't make it as mayor, and so that's the kind of thing that I look forward to, because I feel the mayor is the face of the city, and Dave has done a good job with that. I think in my 12 years, we've had some good times in East Peoria, a lot of good development, good investment in our city, and I believe what I've shown is that I have the ability to work well with people. Various boards, I serve on other boards besides the city council, and that experience I bring to the table. Not just putting my time in, but I think it's proven experience. And so I think I'm the person that, in transition, now going from a 12-year tenured mayor, he's actually was on the city council for 24 years.
Yeah, he was,
total.
yeah.
I mean, how do you replace that? It's tough. But I think with my 12 years experience and life experiences following after Mayor Mingus, I think I'm the right guy at this point in time and can transition to the next phase of East Peoria.
Could you break down your priorities? Where would you focus your attention first if placed within that leadership position?
Well, we have to work with our staff, and everyone looks at the money issue, budget issues, and we have a lot of good news coming for East Peoria. We have a solid foundation, in my view. It's there. The numbers are very good. Right now, with some of the additional mandates put on us by the state, it's crowded us a little bit with what our funds that we have, but obviously infrastructure, streets, equipment purchases, whether it be fire trucks, plow trucks, those kind of things all add up. For streets, it's not just resurfacing, it's actually replacing bridges, it's the bigger things, complete rebuilds versus just maintenance. And I think as mayor, as the council was convened in May, the new council, that this is probably the biggest issue, how we transition the next 2, 3, 4 years where we see money a little bit more tight, but we've actually increased it over last year, this current council. So we, as far as streets, I think that will be a priority of all of us, has to be. And I think we just have to find the dollars to get us there, because things are looking good for our cash flow in the out years, very good.
You just said we got to find the dollars.
Yeah.
I know that's a question that a lot of municipalities have to face.
Yeah.
I just look over across the river
Yeah.
and in Peoria and what they've been trying to do and getting creative, in their kind of words, for their budget issues. How would you approach trying to find the dollars to do those kind of projects like infrastructure?
Yeah, I think it's the kind of thing that, for instance, if we had a tornado come through East Peoria and do some damage, which it did a few years ago when Washington had their great loss, I think if we view it that we just have to do it, we'll get it done. To just say that we need to do it, doesn't solve anyone's problem. We've committed about $1.2 million total to streets this year. The goal would be to spend $2 to $2.5 million a year if we could on our whole street program. So we're looking at probably a shortfall of about $1 million. So out of a $45+ million budget, we've got to find it. And I think if that means priorities, we have to put some other things off. We extend perhaps some of our vehicle purchases. And it costs us more maintenance, but it again puts more money towards streets, which are very expensive. The longer you put them off, the more expensive it is to fix them. It's just incredible. But I think too, what we know is, I'm hopeful that we see some legislation come out of Springfield that may help us. We can't count on that, but it looks pretty promising that as they look for a capital bill for the whole state, that's going to help a lot of people. And we have jobs ready to go, of course, so I'm very hopeful that comes through. But in the meantime, we have to do it ourselves.
Would you be against or for possible tax increases if that were something that were to be brought up?
I don't see any tax increases coming in East Peoria. We've laid the foundation. We did extend our sales tax here in 2018 to help us bridge this gap, and that has actually helped us quite a bit, actually. And so, no, I don't see any need for that. I think as we see our investments, as we grow our economy, as the sales tax revenue increases, which it is, then we'll have more dollars to spend on our infrastructure, and that's happening. And it's the plan that's been laid out over the last 12 years, and I think it's going to pay off.
What about economic development?
Yeah.
You know, your opponent was here a few days ago, and I was telling him, I mean, since I've been here, I've seen East Peoria, the levee district, completely just evolve and change, and it's done a lot within the last, 8 years, 10 years. What's the next step for East Peoria? You talked about that good foundation. What's the next step for East Peoria, the vision, and its economic development?
Sure.
What are the next needs, I guess, for the city?
Well, you know, the levee district and other developments, you know, within the city and the former previous councils laid the groundwork for us. They sure did. And look, it's paying off. What we said was going to happen is happening. When Bass Pro came in was the big anchor, the big home run that we had back before we knew all this was going to happen, as far as what could happen. And other businesses, as a levee district, as we cleared out that nearly 100 acres of old Caterpillar property, which I used to work in some of those factories, we took a brownfield and made it into this place of civic pride, really, for me, a place to shop, eat, and do business, library, city hall, etc., and new banks. It's been great. Not often does a city have 100 acres of property that they own. Now, as we transition in the future, we no longer really are in the real estate business. You know, private business has got to step up here and work with us, and we need to provide the infrastructure, the services to make it possible for them to say, hey, this is a good place to come. I will tell you that we've had developers come to us and say, you know, Illinois is a tough sell right now for their investors or for their company. However, they're still coming to us because they see the value of what we have. And we have this great value. We have millions of people coming in now that weren't here 8, 9 years ago. You know, Bass brings in 1 to 2 million people a year, Costco, and look at our tourism, Festival Lights, East Side Center. These are things that have all built on a strong foundation of previous councils and what we've done the last 12 years. So we have, we're a regional magnet now for a lot of great business, and I believe as we provide an opportunity for them to locate here that we partner with them. And we have, look, we had, with all the development we had, it probably compressed 20 years of average growth into about a 5-year period where these things happened. And so, you know, it takes a while, you sow, then you reap, and it's coming. The harvest is coming, and we're seeing results now, and I think it proves itself.
My last question to you is
Sure.
this, I'm sure you've been asked this one, but I like to give this to the candidates. Why should people, in your opinion, vote for you to be the mayor of East Peoria?
That's a very fair question. I'm not used to being self-promoting in that way for myself because I just live here. I've served other people. I've coached, and I work in serving other people. That's me. If anyone really knows me, that's myself. But look, why should they vote for me? I believe my experience in a wide range of disciplines across my life, my whole life, what I've done working with children, adults, youth, business with Chamber of Commerce, the people that we had a chance to know. I bring this all to the table. My family life is very strong and supports me, gives me that strength. My church family and people in our community. I think we have a very strong faith community in East Peoria, and I'm very much in touch with them, and I appreciate their support for the things they do for after-school programs and so forth for the city. So I bring a big tent, a big group with me, and look, I'll be the mayor of the whole city. Look, people have to make a choice. I believe I'm the best choice. Okay. And I think I'm really a pretty good guy, but ask my grandkids. That's what they tell people on the streets. They pass out my material. They say, why should I vote for your grandpa? As they find out this is my grandkids, they say, well, he's a nice guy. And hey, trust me, I'll do the best I can. I work well with people, bringing them together for solutions, because I believe there's solutions for everything out there. If we can work together to find those solutions, we'll be much better as a whole for it.
All right. Well, Tim Jeffers running for mayor of East Peoria, the first person other than Dave Mingus within the last 12 years will be selected in that seat.
He's a tall man. He's got some big shoes to fill. Believe me, he's about a size 13. But no, you're right, and it's monumental in that way. So I look forward to the opportunity, if elected, to serve and serve the very best that I can.